Taxes. Let's start with the thing everyone hates but nobody actually understands. Taxes. Picture this. You worked a brutal month. You check your pay stub. You were supposed to get $2,000. Your bank account says $1,456. You scroll down. Federal income tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. Gone. Just like that. Here's the deal. Taxes are the price of civilization. Roads, schools, hospitals, food safety. All of that runs on your tax dollars. There are a few types you need to know. Income tax hits what you earn, sales tax hits what you spend, and capital gains. Tax hits what your investments made while you were sleeping. Then there's Social Security tax, basically the government forcing you to save for retirement, and Medicare tax, which funds health care for older Americans. Filing your taxes? The government already knows how much you owe. They just make you guess. File correctly and you're fine. File wrong and you're not. Banks. You walk into a bank, hand over your money, and imagine it sitting in a vault somewhere, safe and sound. It's not. The second you deposit $1,000, the bank takes $900 of it and loans it out to someone buying a car or a boat. This is called fractional reserve banking, the idea that since not everyone withdraws their money at once, banks only need to keep a fraction on hand. Banks make their money by lending your money at a higher interest rate than they pay you. You're the supply. The borrower is the demand. The bank is the middleman pocketing the difference. The good news? In the US, most bank accounts are federally insured up to $250,000. Even if the bank collapses, your money is protected up to that limit. Interest. Interest is probably the most important concept in this entire video, because it either works for you or against you. There's no middle ground. When you borrow money, interest is the fee you pay for using someone else's cash. When you save or invest, interest is the reward you earn for being patient. There are two types. Simple interest is a flat fee, straightforward and predictable. Compound interest is the dangerous one. With compound interest, your interest earns interest. That $12 burrito on a credit card you never paid off? Give it a few months, it's a $50 regret, but flip it around. Invest at 7% compound, annual returns. Your $100 becomes $200, then $400, then one day you're old, rich, and a little smug about it. The rule is simple. If you're paying interest, eliminate it fast. If you're earning interest, leave it alone and let time do the work. Inflation. You grab a bag of chips. It's the same size as always, but the price is up 30%. Welcome to inflation. Inflation is when money slowly loses its value. Your $5 bill is still technically $5, but it buys less gas, less food, and less of basically everything than it did a few years ago. Why does it happen? Sometimes too much money is chasing too few goods. Sometimes supply chains break down and production costs rise. Sometimes people just expect prices to go up, so they spend more now, which makes prices go up. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. A little inflation, about 2% a year, is normal and healthy. When it spikes above that, the government's weapon of choice is raising interest rates. Higher rates mean borrowing costs more, people spend less, and the economy cools down. Recessions. A recession is officially 2 consecutive quarters, 6 months, of the economy shrinking. At one day, everything's fine. You've got a job, bills are paid, maybe you're planning a vacation. Then layoffs start, the stock market tanks. Businesses stop hiring. Everyone suddenly only buys what they need. Think of the economy like a party. During the boom, everyone's dancing, drinks are flowing, money is moving. Then someone checks their bank account. The music changes. Reality hits. Recessions happen for a lot of reasons. High interest rates making credit too expensive, global crises, pandemic shutdowns, or just the natural economic cycle doing its thing. Boom, peak, bust, reset. They're painful, but they always end. Governments lower rates, send out stimulus, spending returns, businesses rebuild. Credit scores. Your credit score is a 3-digit number, somewhere between 300 and 850. That decides whether you can get a house, a car loan, or a reasonable interest rate on anything. Below 580, lenders see you as a red flag. Above 750, you're walking around with financial credibility. Most people land somewhere in the 640 to 790 range. It's calculated based on 5 things: Payment history, the biggest factor. How much of your available credit you're using, how long your accounts have been open, what types of credit you have, and how many new credit applications you've made recently. Here's the counterintuitive part. You can have zero debt and still have a bad score. If you've never had credit, lenders have nothing to judge you on. You have to play the game to build the score. The fix: pay on time. Every time. Don't max out your cards. Let your accounts age. That's it. Simple rules, but consistency is everything. Currency and money. Here's something that might mess with your head. Money isn't real. A dollar bill and a stick are both just objects. The only reason a dollar can buy something and the stick can't is because we, as a society, agree that it does. Money is a shared belief, a collective hallucination that happens to make civilization run. The government prints it. Central banks regulate how much exists. Too much printing leads to inflation. Everyone's money becomes worth less. Too little, and people can't afford to live. Bitcoin? Same concept, different belief system. The value comes from how many people trust it, not from any physical backing. Once you understand this, you realize that wealth isn't about having pieces of paper. It's about what those pieces of paper can do, and how you position yourself to get more of them. Investing. Now that you know about inflation, here's the logical next question. What do you do about it? You can't just leave your money in a savings account and watch it slowly lose value. You invest. Investing is what happens when your money stops sitting still and starts working for you. The main options: stocks, small ownership slices of a company. The company grows, your slice becomes more valuable. Bonds. You loan money to a government or company, they pay you back with interest. Lower risk, lower reward. Index funds, bundles of hundreds of stocks. Instant diversification without having to pick individual winners. Real estate. Property you own that someone else pays to live in. The mistake most people make is thinking investing is about being smart or lucky. It's not. It's about being early, consistent, and patient. Most wealthy people didn't win the lottery. They just started early and let compound growth run for 30 years. Yes, markets go up and down, but the real risk isn't losing money in a crash. It's never investing at all and watching inflation quietly drain your future. Value. This one's a little different. Yes, but it might be the key to understanding how wealth actually gets created. Pick up a rock. It's just a rock. Now imagine that rock is rare, shiny, and yellow. Suddenly people want it. They'll trade for it. They'll pay for it. That's gold. The rock didn't change. Our perception of it did. Value is perception. And understanding that is what separates people who make a lot of money from people who don't. Steve Jobs didn't just build a phone. He built something millions of people perceived as so valuable they'd pay $1,000 for it. Doctors and lawyers earn what they earn because the value they provide is high and people are willing to pay for it. Gucci sells a handbag for $3,000. Target sells a similar bag for $30. Same function. Completely different perceived value. If you want to increase your income, the question isn't, how do I work harder? The question is, how do I create more value, real or perceived, for the people around me? Time, and finally, the one that ties everything together. Time. Time is the most valuable asset in the world, and almost everyone starts with a lot of it. Most people trade time directly for money. 1 hour, 1 paycheck. That's the standard model, and there's nothing wrong with it until you realize it caps your earning potential at the number of hours you can physically work. The wealthiest people figured out how to make their time worth exponentially more, through skills, through leverage, through systems that generate money even when they're asleep. But nowhere does time matter more than in investing. A person who starts investing at 22 will almost always end up wealthier than someone who starts at 35, even if the 35-year-old invests more money per month. That's not luck. That's math. Compound interest needs time to work. Give it decades, and small, ordinary amounts turn into extraordinary results. Ordinary people with modest paychecks retire with 7 figures all the time. They didn't beat the system. They used the system. They started early, stayed consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting.